Hi. Happy New Year, everyone. All right, who's here? Happy New Year, Stevie. She's way. Happy New Year, Nicole. Happy New Year, Terry. So good to see everyone here. And then whoever else is here that does not let me know they're here. And sometimes they let me know later. Wow. So here we are, 2024. Wow, how are you all doing? How was the holiday? I hope that it was nice for you all. I know there was another surge of sicknesses. Dawn, hi, how are you? So I hope that you all are doing well and survived. And yeah, so anything anybody wants to ask or say, I do have a couple of things I'd like to talk about. First of all, 26-day detox. For those of you that know me or have been with me for a while, my very first 26-day detox was in 2020. And I cannot say enough about this detox. I think the woman that runs it, she really knows her stuff. Detoxification is a must for all of us. Liver congestion, kidney issues, huge contributors to bone loss and to other aspects of disease as we age. And when I run functional labs, one of the areas that I notice there's issues for a lot of women is in the detoxification channels. And so if you're someone that is sensitive to supplements, sensitive to making changes in your diet, quite often detoxification can be a big factor. So 26-day detox, if you want to join me, I started today. The actual group really starts on January 10th. I'd love to help you, guide you through it, share photos, share information. It is an amazing program. So look on, well, my Instagram has it. If there's an email that's going to go out on Saturday. But get in touch with me if you want more information before that, because I'm going to send out an email with this. So cannot say enough. It'll be on Facebook. I'll post that in my groups. Those of you that are in groups with me, especially my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones people, which a lot of you are. So that, what else? Scotland, April 28th to May 7th, 9 nights, 10 days, yoga almost every morning, 7 mornings of yoga. Really fantastic journey to Scotland. It's where my people are from. I love it. It's a mix of activities, outdoors, history. It's just such a beautiful, special place. And there's a few spots left for those of you that would like to join me. So get in touch with me. Let's have a call and talk about it and see if this is something that would be good for you. April 28th to May 7th, 2024. Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones. If you want to run functional labs, my next one starts at the end of the month. Wow, so much is going on. And then last but not least, if you have the BAR method near you. So the BAR method is a workout routine. Nicole, I'm not sure if they have it out in New Jersey. I cannot say enough about this. I started on December 10th. I've already done 10 classes. Oh my goodness. It is giving me a run for my money. And it makes me realize how strong I am and what yoga and practicing yoga does for your joints, your muscles, and your bones. So I really see the benefits of the yoga practice when I show up to do this BAR method. And it's just, yeah, so doing a lot of self-care. Hopefully you're all doing a lot of self-care. It's not about New Year's resolutions. Just choose goals for self-care, goals for getting stronger, for improving your balance, whatever that is. All right. So I know we need to practice. Sorry. Hope that wasn't too much. Hi, Beth. Nice to see you. So if any of you have any questions or would like to join me in any of those things, get in touch with me, because the more the merrier. And when we're together in group, it's so much better. It's easier when you have people to help guide you or someone who's done it before and knows what to do. I just cannot say enough about the detoxification thing. And I don't want to spend too much more time here talking about it, but does anybody have anything that's going on, any particular area that you'd like to focus on? Or am I free to roam? I had 2 weeks off of teaching. So my last class I taught was 2 weeks ago. And I like to start the new year in a very general way, really lubricating our joints, strengthening our body, bringing in, depending on if you took time off or not going crazy, yet offering crazy if you're ready for crazy, meaning just, a little bit more strengthening work. So, all right, well, without further ado, let's do it. It's a little chilly here, and I know I'm in Southern California, so it's like, yeah, right. What do you have to complain about? Because the rest of you are in crazy places. So let's begin. We're going to begin today's practice with a pretty strong supported back bend, if you'd like to do that. Or you can choose a more mellow back bend and use blankets or pillows behind your heart. So I'm going to use 2 blocks today behind my heart to help open up and stretch the muscles of the chest, muscles of posture, alignment, spinal health muscles. So today's practice, you're definitely going to need a strap and a block and a blanket, and then the rest of it is all extra. So because it's a little chilly here, I want to put a blanket on top of myself. I will be warm. When we are doing breath and meditation, meaning focusing your mind. So bringing your mind to present moment, to right here, right now. Not tomorrow, not what's going to happen next year, not what happened a year ago, but to this very moment. You want minimal distractions of your body in a sensory perspective. So if it is cold, having socks on or a blanket would be good. So I'm going to use a blanket today to cover myself in the opening posture, and then we will need a blanket later. So if you're going to use a blanket, it would be nice. You could put this blanket actually behind your heart. If you have 1 block and 1 blanket, that could go across your heart. That would be nice. I'm going to use 2 blocks. So 1 block goes across, horizontal across the heart area, shoulder blades are in the back, and then another block to support your head in whatever way that you need. And before we come down, let's bring ourselves here. Let's bring our mind to this moment. So if you want to set up your space, you can. And then either sit in a kneeling position if that's comfortable for your knees, if they're bendable, or in a Sukhasana easy seat with the knees out to the side. So whatever it is that's appropriate for you, let's begin. Let's set the intention. Let's really arrive to right here, right now, to prepare our body and our mind for this next hour plus of attention to strength, flexibility, increased range of motion, strength, and all of the things that are important for our happy and healthy aging, happy and healthy bones. So bring yourself here, close your eyes, take your hands, rub your hands strongly together to generate heat in your hands. Then bring your hands together and bring them at your heart. So the hands are touching, the hands are pressing into your heart. When you press your hands to your heart, that activates the spinal muscles, postural muscles. Feel that support that's activated in your body. Close your mouth, let the tongue relax in the lower jaw. Lips touch. Breathe in and out through your nose. With a new year brings the mindset of what can I do to improve myself? What needs shifted? What goals can I set for myself? So right now, think about what your goals and your intentions are for this practice. If you've been taking a few weeks off, then maybe you're going to go the medium range or even the first range. Or maybe you've been staying on top of things and you're going to give it the best you can today. We're all going to give it the best we can. But if you can go and do some of the stronger work, you'll do some of the stronger work. So with each breath, bring in whatever it is you need or want. What are your goals? What do you need to focus on now? And it might be to not make so many goals, to not make so many resolutions that you're not able to complete or to adhere to. What is your goal for 2024? All day, every day, your cells are regenerating and recycling and making new cells. They say that every 7 to 10 years, we actually have a new skeleton from the one we had 7 or 10 years ago, with all of the cleaning up that the bones do and the rebuilding. So starting off this new year, setting your body up to make new cells, bone cells, cells that are responsible for posture, for balance, for strength. Do your best, leave the rest. Take one more breath. Bring your hands to cover your eyes. Gently blink your eyes open. And then bring your hands down. So let's come on to whatever props you've chosen for yourself. Something to expand your chest. We call this spinal extension or back bend in the spine. So opening up the front of the vertebra and stretching the muscles and posture. And if you are going to use a blanket, have your blanket handy as well. Of course, picking a nice comfortable blanket makes it even better. Wrapping up your feet. When you do come down, if you're coming down like this, still coming down with that open chest, or moving to the side to bring yourself onto the props, where do you want the prop? You want the prop to be right behind the heart, not on the upper part of the spine, but right behind the heart. So there's still a space of your upper back and upper spinal bones exposed. And then wrapping yourself up, bring yourself down onto your props. Take your arms out to the side. Let's move with this. Move with breath and movement. So you can have your legs straight or your knees bent. If the low back is not happy, bend your knees. That'll relax and take some tension out of the lower back. And then when you're ready and you're in your position, let's start to bring some movement. You inhale to let your hands come back towards the back wall, maybe towards touching overhead. And as you exhale, you let your elbows come down towards your waist. You inhale, palms are up, fingers are moving towards overhead. And exhale, elbows towards the waist. Close your eyes. Let the palms be up, let the arms be wide. The farther away from your body your hands are, the more weight you put into the muscles of the shoulders and the chest. The exhale brings the elbows down towards your waist. Go slow, slow down your breath. And the inhale takes the hands back up. Finishing your last few like this, a moving meditation, matching breath with movement. Last one, finish up your last one. Bring yourself back down. Bring your hands down alongside your body. Palms are down towards the ground. Inhale, lift the right hand up. Palm faces in, thumb reaches up and then back. Exhale back. Do that with the left hand. Go slow, a moving meditation. Warming up the shoulder joint, muscles of posture. And then both hands. Finishing up your last one. Take your arms out to the side, wide, high up, and far away from your body. The farther away they are, the higher up they go, more stretch will happen in the muscles, in the arms, shoulders, chest. And then close your mouth. Let's do breath of peace. Bringing in calm, peaceful aspects to your nervous system. This is where your body will build, repair, heal, and restore the most. Keep the mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose. I'm going to do a 6 count on the inhale, 6 count on the exhale. This matches the natural rhythm of the heart, the natural pace of the sinus rhythm of the heart. Take a big exhale, and let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count on your own. 6 on the inhale, 6 on the exhale. Keep your mind occupied with counting and breathing. Stay with your breath. Stay with counting. Last few breaths. Stay with the breath. Stay with counting. And then finish your last breath. Bring awareness to your fingers, your toes, as you start to move your fingers, move your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. And then reach long with your arms. You could straighten your legs if they're not straight, or if they are straight. Really reach through the heels of your hands and the heels of your feet. Stretch your body. Take one more breath. And then bending your knees. You're going to come all the way off onto your side. Take your hand on the ground. Let your head be the last thing that comes up. Let your torso come up first, and then your head comes up last. And then we'll clear our space. So take whatever, one of your blankets if you have two. Let's work with one blanket today. And then clear your space. So the block and the other blanket, if you had two, would be off to the side. Put your other props off to the side, the block and the strap. And the blanket is there for your knees. So if you need a little bit more support, support yourself a little more. Bring yourself onto all fours and start to push your body side to side, especially pushing your hips to the side so that you feel the stretch coming into that posterior hip capsule, the side glute, and the lateral chain muscles. These are important to have these limber and healthy for healthy hips, healthy knees. Then bring yourself back to center. Imagine that you have a paintbrush coming off of your tailbone. So an extension of your spine, the tailbone, and then you have a paintbrush coming off the back. Start to paint a strip of paint up and down the back wall, letting your pelvis rock. Head is forward, look forward, pretty far forward. Let your head be elevated. You may feel tension in your neck here when you do this, tilting your pelvis forward and back. And then bring yourself to a neutral position. Take your tailbone and your paintbrush and go in a circular pattern. Go slow. This is going to warm up muscles in the hips and warm up muscles in the low back. So the two areas that are looked at in the DEXA scan is the hip joint and the low back. And we do a lot of work and focus in yoga therapy for osteoporosis in this area, these areas. And then switch, go the other direction. And then bring yourself back to center. Come off your hands for a little while. Take your hands. So you can stay up here in this kneeling position or sit back on your heels. Open and close your hands pretty quickly and pretty forcefully. So really warming up the joints of the hands and the muscles of the hands. So let's do a wrist stretch movement. Roll your wrists around. So this wrist stretch was actually a posture added by Dr. Fishman when he was doing yoga for osteoporosis in the second series. And although it's not specifically a yoga posture, it's a great way to keep your wrists limber for fracture prevention or to minimize the damage that can be done when we do slip, trip, or fall, and we use our hands to support ourselves in that way. So take your hands, bring the backs of the hands together, thumbs are down. Take the left hand over the right and then clasp your hands. Make your neck really long as you push down your shoulders, and then bring your hands through, up, and around. So we're twisting the left wrist and we're pulling on the bones of the forearm and creating more flexibility and creating stronger bones in especially that distal radial bone of the forearm, which is one of the most fractured sites and also an area that can be looked at with a DEXA scan or ultrasound like REMS. Elbows are moving apart. Push your hands away from you. And you can lower your hands. These are all ways to get more tension to come into the wrist. Or if straightening your arm is available to you, you could try straightening your arm. So anything that creates an appropriate stress to this area. Elbows wide, elbows lowered, hands moving away from your body. Find whatever you need to create the stimulation necessary there. Take one more breath. And then you're going to slowly unwind, noticing when you do the tension that was created there in the left hand. Let's go to the other side. Take the hands in front of you, back to the hands towards each other, thumbs are down. And then you take right wrist over left. Arms stay straight, so try not to bend the elbows too much. Now bend the elbows to bring your hands down, through, and up. Creating tension, you should have your palms touching. So only go as far as you can, creating rotational force, still allowing this to the palms to stay connected. To intensify this, you lower down, you can move your arms apart, push your hands away from your body, and create as much stimulation here as you can. Lowering the hands, pushing them away, elbows, constantly working towards creating more stimulation. And then take one more breath. Go ahead and move your hands out. Shake your hands. Move the fingers. Let's come on to all fours again. Hands are wide this time. Thumbs are on the mat. Fingers are off. Knees are separated and the toenails touch the mat. You're going to bring your pelvis forward to wherever you can. Stretch comes into the front of the body. And then exhale, push your belly button up towards your spine. Bend your hips. Bring your tushy back. And try to bring your forehead towards the floor or touching the floor. Inhale to come forward, pelvis goes forward, head goes up. Exhale, bending the hip, moving the pelvis back, touching the floor with the head. One more. And then bring yourself out, bring yourself up. Flip your toes under if you can to sit on your heels. Those with knees that don't bend, that might be impossible. But if you are able to still have this in your body, try to work on maintaining this. Flipping the toes under, stretching the bottom of the feet to help with balance, fall prevention. And then let's come on to all fours. We're going to come into plank. So any variation that you'd like. If you need to modify, you bring your hands forward, you let your body come forward, and then you activate your core to support your weight here. So you would try to bring the pubic bone towards the lower ribs, or you flip the toes under and you come into plank, pushing through the heels. Try to keep your tushy in a line with your torso and your head. Keep your head active and looking up, pushing through the feet. Your feet here, the placement of your feet could be together or they could be a little wider. Bring your awareness to the left foot. Push through the left heel strongly. Feel that calf stretch. Try to push the back of the knee up towards the sky. Make sure that the left pinky toe and all the toes are touching. Then bring your awareness over to the right foot. Push strongly through the right heel. Push the back of the knee up towards the sky. Push the pinky toe and all the other toes into the ground. Bring your awareness to your knees. Push your knees up towards the sky. Draw your knees towards your pelvis, activating those quads. Bring your awareness to the base of your pelvis and draw the pubic bone up towards the lower ribs and the lower ribs back towards the sky above you. So really activating the core, the structure, the support. Push through your heels. Bring your awareness to your left hand. Push all 5 fingers, the tips, into the floor, pushing strongly. And then the right hand, push the fingertips into the ground. Push away from the floor strongly. Reach from the crown of your head all the way down to your tailbone. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down and out. Any rest position that you'd like to catch your breath after that plank. You could sit on your heels, you could stay in the kneeling position or come into crisscross. Close your eyes, catch your breath. Take one more breath. Take your blanket, move your blanket back to maybe the bottom 1/3 of your mat. So just move it back to the bottom 1/3. And then bring your knees all the way to the back edge of the blanket. Go ahead and grab your block. We're going to do another plank. We're going to do a dolphin plank. So when we do a plank with straight arms, this brings strength into the wrists, the arms, the shoulders. When we come into a dolphin plank, we focus a little bit more on the core and we take some of the work or the support of the arms out. So it's a little bit more core focused. So focusing on fall prevention, balance, and postural alignment, which is critical to healthy aging and healthy bones. So you're going to take your block like this. We're going to do the forearm where the elbows are right, shoulders not wide. So bring your knees back to the back edge of your blanket. Bring your block forward. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Now you can stay here in the modification with the knees down, drawing the pubic bone towards lower ribs, pushing lower ribs up towards the sky, or you can flip the toes under and lift the knees off. Choosing whatever is appropriate for you. Squeeze the block with the fingers. Push through the heels. Toes into the floor. And then push the forearms, the elbows. Squeeze the block. Activate your core. Push your belly button up towards the sky. Try to flatten out the lower back. Lower ribs are moving up towards the sky. Pubic bone is drawing towards lower ribs. Take one more breath. And then slowly lower your pelvis towards the ground. Pelvis should be on the blanket, your pelvic bones, your hip bones. Then come here into Sphinx posture, having the elbows be directly underneath the shoulders. We're going to turn this into a posture. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Push your hands, spread your hands, push your hands into the floor. Push the toenails into the floor. Then push your belly button towards the floor. Push your heart forward and push away from the floor with your hands. So creating a supported back bend with the upper arms. Make sure your elbows are close together underneath your shoulders, not far apart. Spread the hands, push the hands into the ground. Push your heart forward. Bend your spine. Bring your awareness to your upper spine. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Press the tips of the shoulder blades forward right behind the heart to try to bend the upper spine. Push away from the floor. Lengthen and bend your spine. Try to stretch the front of the vertebra. Bring your awareness to the front of your spine. Stretching, stretching. Let your chin go up towards the sky even more. Take one more breath. Then you're going to inhale, look over one shoulder towards the leg or towards the foot, and then back to center. Inhale up into the other foot. Back to center, up. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's come all the way down with length in the body. Take your hands, bend your elbows, they're wide and away from you, and push your hands far away from your chest, and then let the forehead rest on the back of the hands. Wiggle your pelvis side to side so you relax your lower back. We just did the back bend. The Sphinx posture is a back bend. So there's tension created in the back. Wiggle your pelvis side to side to release that tension. We're going to do another back bend, strengthening the spine, posture, alignment. For those of you that have a DEXA scan score reading of lumbar spine with low density, you want to make sure we're going to be putting a lot of pressure. So we want to push the back of the spine into itself. The goal is to make a smiley face with your body, to make a rainbow shape, and especially up here in the upper back, really pushing the heart forward and trying to bend the spine as much as you can in this locus. Take your hands down alongside your body, walk your toes together, big toes touch. Push your feet into the floor, the knees move away from the floor. And when you do that, you'll feel the ability of your pelvis to move. Push your pubic bone down into the floor. That's how we keep the low back safe. And if you'd like, you could feel back at your back body. You're going to feel that those muscles are already starting to activate, the erector muscles and those muscles that support and mobilize the spine. Lengthen your head, let the forehead touch the ground. Exhale, and then inhale, push like you're pushing a marble away with your nose. Let your head come up. Let the top spine start to bend. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the arms off the floor. Now let the legs lift off the floor. Coming into locust. Try to turn the soles of the feet up towards the sky, reaching through the fingertips and the toe tips. Bring your awareness to your spine. Pubic bone pushes into the ground. You could activate your glutes, squeeze them, and point your tailbone away. And from there, let the rest of the spine get long and bend. Deep breaths here in locust. Feel the back bend. Try to stretch the front of the spine. Try to lift a little higher, bend a little deeper, reach longer with your hands, longer with your feet. Take one more breath. With length, lowering yourself down, bend your elbows, fold your hands one at a time. Bend your knees and let your feet flop side to side. This will relax that tension in the low back. Let your forehead rest on the back of your hand. Deep breaths to your belly. And then let your legs go. Take your arm, reach your arm long, bring yourself onto your side, bend your knees, take your hand on the ground. Head is the last thing to come up, using the strength in your arms to push yourself up and away from the ground. So let's continue focusing on posture, spinal health, alignment, which leads to spinal fracture prevention, fall prevention. Take your blanket, we're going to do the seated twist. So take the blanket and fold the blanket at least in double. And if you have really tight hips, you may want to make that a little higher for yourself. Come to sit at the front edge of the blanket so that you feel like your body is falling forward. And then reach under and grab the flesh and move it back so you expose your sits bones. Helps to get you to sit a little taller. Then take the block. Let's take the block to the left side. So behind you, your left side. And then bend the left leg. So the foot comes right around where the knee is. Then hold on to that left leg to get tall in your spine. Hold on to the left leg with the right arm and keep that right arm active. Left hand on the floor or block, depending on what you need. And the right foot is active. Push the right foot into the floor, the left foot into the floor. Be tall in your spine. Lower the shoulders, exhale, and then inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate to the left. Now refine this, lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, push the shoulder blades forward to lift and to bend the upper spine. Push your feet into the floor actively, hand into the ground. Length and rotation. Breathe down to your belly. Long neck. Take one more breath. Coming out with length, get tall in your spine as you unwind to come all the way out. Push the block over to the right side, straighten left leg, bend the right leg. Hold on to the right leg to get tall in your body. Take the hand on the block behind you. Push down to get tall. Active left arm, left elbow. Lower the shoulders here, exhale. And then as you inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate to the right. Lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the heart, lengthen the front of your spine. Bend your upper thoracic spine. Keep that left elbow active. Push your feet into the ground. Keep working in this posture. Tall spine. Chin parallel towards the ground, shoulder blades towards each other, pressing forward and lifting. Take one more breath. And then you're going to come with length to come all the way out. Let's bring the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana to stretch the inner thighs. Take a break from that rotation. A little wiggle side to side. So we're going to do another twist, twisting the spine. Often when you do twisting the next day, especially if you're working the whole time you're in the posture, if you keep working on pressing the shoulder blades forward, lifting and bending, you'll feel that in your back muscles. It really activates the muscles of posture and alignment. And it's core work because the rotational muscles of the trunk, the obliques, are core muscles, and we are lengthening them as well. So this is core work, posture work. Let's do one more. Now we're going to add the leg across the body. So this brings extra force to the posterior hip capsule, pulling on this part of the body, the bones here, to create stronger bones in the side of your body. Now, if your knees don't bend, you may have to keep one leg straight and put the other one over it when you do your twist. But for those with bendable knees, the lower leg is going to bend. So let's take the blanket underneath the left buttock. And when the blanket is underneath the left buttock, the left leg bends and the left heel becomes the place that the right tushy sits. So that the blanket is underneath the left buttock and the left heel is underneath the right. And then you take your right leg across your body. So the right leg is across the body, so we're going to rotate to the right. The block goes on the floor behind you. You push down on the block. Push your feet into the ground. So that right foot pushes into the ground. Left leg pushes into the ground to get length. Lower the shoulders, exhale. And then inhale, lower, middle, and upper torso. Lower ribs, middle ribs, upper. When you get here, refine. Lift the left elbow. Press the hand into the ground. Get tall. Lower the shoulders. Slide shoulder blades towards each other. Press the shoulder blades forward. Lift and serve your heart. Feel like you're lifting your heart, lifting your chest with the shoulder blades activated. Chin parallel towards the ground. Active left arm, Take one more breath. And then slowly unwind. Let's go to the other side. Walk over to the left. Uncross your legs, bring the blanket onto the right buttock. Right leg bends, right heel goes underneath left buttock, and left leg goes across your body. So hard for those with knees that don't bend, even hard for us with knees that do bend, as you bring this extra tension in the lower body. Bring the block to the left side, hold on to the left leg, keep that right arm active, lower the shoulders, press down to get tall, push your foot into the ground, exhale, and then inhale, lower, middle, and upper. With length, once you get here, refine it. Lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, press them forward, elevate your body. Lower your shoulders, lengthen your chest. Front chest is stretching, push your heart forward. Take one more breath. And then with length, come out. Come to sit in a wide-legged stretch, so getting our legs ready to do the standing postures, bringing a block in front of you, sitting at the very front edge of your mat. You could reach under and move the flesh. You could bring your block up high. This is here to help so that you don't collapse your posture. So if you need a block in front of you, put a block in front of you. And then if you want a little extra, if you can maintain that front spine not collapsing, you could bend at your hip joint to come forward if you need more. Turning your toes out. Maybe you feel this on the inner thighs or hamstrings, wherever you need it. Just bring yourself into this stretch. Push your pelvis down into the ground. Push your legs into the ground. Be as long as you can be in your torso. And make sure the bend forward happens only at the hip joint, not in the spine. This is not about how close you can get down to the ground. This is activating the forward fold at the hips, which is where we should bend. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up and out. Block off to the side. We're going to come to standing. I'd like to come to standing through a down dog. Unless you need to do something different, you could do that. So you could put your knees on the blanket if you need. Take your hands wide, take your feet wide. When we do the down dog, flipping your toes under, the knees stay bent. You push your tushy up towards the sky. You're bending deep in your hip joint. And then one at a time, press the outer edge of the heels towards the ground, and your head is active forward, looking forward, lifted, and your elbows are straight. And then bend your knees, bring yourself back. Keep your head lifted. Now your feet are going to touch the ground. You're still deeply bent in your hips and in your knees. Take your hands one at a time on your thighs. Let your head lift. Go slow here. You need to allow that calibration of your blood through your body. And then bring yourself all the way up. Clearing your space. Let's take the strap off to the side and the blanket. Block will stay. So either being near a wall or getting a chair or something like that if you need to set yourself up for success, if that's something that you need. And then standing, it's nice to start in a mountain, finding that alignment in your joints. Treat this as a posture and try to refine your alignment. Take your hands down alongside your body. If our joints were to stay in a perfectly aligned place throughout our whole life, we would minimize wear and tear, maybe not even have bone loss or arthritis, especially arthritis. The joints is where so much breakdown takes place. And if we did have that proper alignment in our joints, we would maybe not even suffer from those conditions. So when I say maybe, because how can we tell? You know, if you've lived your life for 30 years this way and you have arthritis, how do I know what it would have been like without that? But I will tell you that the osteogenic load that creates bone stimulation happens in that alignment position. So take your hands down alongside your body, starting at your feet. Feel both sets of the front toes touching, and then push the heels into the ground. The center of the heel, the outer edges. Take your hands down, reach down with your hands so you feel that stretch in your shoulders from that action with force. Push your hands back. Push your feet down, push your hands down. Now push your top thighs back and put your pelvis in a neutral position. So draw the pubic bone up towards the lower ribs. Feel that slight posterior tilt, pointing the tailbone down right in between the two heels. Pushing down with your hands with your feet, pointing the tailbone down. Now lengthen your head up as if somebody was gently holding your head with both hands on the ears, lifting and lengthening your spine, bringing some traction into your spine. Chin parallel towards the ground. Push the chin back so that your head is directly on top of the opening of your rib cage. Stacking your ovals. The oval opening of the pelvis at the bottom, the opening of the pelvis at the top, the opening of the lower ribs at the bottom, lower ribs at the top, and the base of the skull. Align all of those openings. Take one more breath. So bring the feet either so the big toes touch or your feet are only a few inches apart. Let's go right into tree from this aligned position. Bring your body over to one side. Bend the toes, point the knee forward. Feel the stretch coming into your foot when you do that. Push the standing leg that's on the ground into the floor, the foot into the floor, and then the knee goes out to the side. Lift the foot off the floor and bring the foot onto the lower leg in between the ankle and the knee. Lift your heart, slide your shoulder blades towards each other, reach down with your hands. You can put your hands in any position that feels appropriate to you, whatever you'd like. Push your knee back and push your foot into your leg. Push your standing foot into the ground, make your chin parallel towards the ground. Stack all the openings, lower pelvis, lower ribs, upper ribs, base of the skull. Take one more breath. Come out gently, back to neutral, back to mountain. Push down with your hands, down with your feet. Find that alignment, and then body weight to the other side. Bend the toes, knee out to the side, foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Hands reach down, body reaches tall. Find whatever hand position works for you. Pushing the knee back, the foot into the leg. Take one more breath. Bring yourself out. Back into mountain. From here, going into tree pose. From here, going into chair pose. So you have your legs are together, you're in that mountain aligned position. You're going to push your tushy back, bend deeply in the hips. The knees bend a little, but the hips bend a lot. And then your arms come forward, reaching up towards the sky in chair. Going deeper if that feels appropriate for you, lifting your toes off if you can. Your legs could be squeezing together. Squeeze your tushy, point your tailbone down. Reach long with your fingers, arms are straight. The deeper you bend, the more stimulation you put in the glutes, the leg muscles, which creates stronger bones. Better for balance, fall prevention, fracture prevention. Find that alignment. Tailbone down. Squeeze the glutes to find that. Lift the toes off. 3 more breaths. And then slowly push yourself back up to mountain. And then shake your legs, shake your arms. So let's come into triangle. You could use your block or your chair for this, put that on the ground. You may not even use that. We're gonna use the support of our arms on our legs. So coming from mountain, take a wider stance. The front heel presses into the ground, lift the toes off and swivel on the front foot. And then the back heel moves away. So you keep your legs straight in triangle. Take your front arm on the front leg and keep that arm straight the whole time. Back hand, palm faces up. Exhale. As you inhale, sliding your hand down the leg, bending at the hip joint. So bring your awareness to the hip. Try not to let your tushy fly back. At some point, the tension of stretch will be appropriate for you to stop. It may be here, you may be able to go down. Don't let your tushy go backwards. Imagine you're between 2 sheets of glass. If your hands are on the chair, you can put your hands on the chair if that's there. If you're able to bend your hip enough to get down to the block, do that. Rip the floor apart with your feet. Point your tailbone down to the back inner edge of the heel. Long spine, bending at the hip joint, and then rotating your heart up towards the sky. So adding rotational force for lumbar spine stimulation. Rip the floor apart, go as deep as you can or should today to stimulate as much growth in strength in your muscles or bones or balance or whatever it is you need. Take one more breath. Keep your legs straight, rip the floor apart as you slowly bring yourself up, using your core to do that. Take the block or the chair to the other side, whatever props you're using. Bring your feet back to the neutral position, and then let's do legs are straight, external rotation on the front foot, internal rotation on the back. 2 different positions of the hip joint here, creating a lot of stimulation of the pelvis, the hips, and the lower spine. Front hand is on the front leg, back hand back. Exhale. And as you inhale, bending that front hip, lowering your body into triangle. Don't let the tushy go back. Let your bend happen in that front hip right here. Feel this front hip bending. Wherever you go, wherever your muscles will let you go, because there's a lengthening part here, bring your hands on the chair if you have a chair, or if you're able to go all the way down to the block, or you can keep your hand on your leg. Bending at your hip, lengthening your spine, long spine, and then rotate your body up towards the sky. Squeeze the glutes, point the tailbone down. Rip the floor apart with your feet. Rip the floor apart, long spine, and then rotating up. Take one more breath. Bring your awareness to your feet, rip the floor apart to create that stable base as you slowly bring yourself up and bring yourself back into Tadasana, mountain. Let's clear the space. We'll come into the warrior two. This warrior posture, a lot of lower body stimulation and a lot of posture muscle stimulation. So put as much attention in the lower body work as you do in the upper body and vice versa, really focusing on what you're doing up here with your arms and what's happening down here. So coming from mountain, take a wide stance, take the front foot, heel is in the ground, lifting the front foot up, back heel back. Take the hand, the back hand on the back leg, slightly bend the front leg and keep pushing the front knee away. Don't let that front knee collapse in, so constantly pushing back. Exhale. As you inhale, slide the back hand down the leg. Let the hand slide down the leg to bend the front leg. When you get as low as you can, the deeper you go, the more of a 90-degree angle you create with your hip and your knee, the more stimulation you're creating in the muscles and the bones. Reach long with your hands, long with your neck. Lower your shoulders. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Rip the floor apart. Let the pelvis be free. Tailbone down towards the ground. You're in between two sheets of glass. Push down, rip the floor apart with your feet. Bring that up into your spine, long hands. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the heart and look over the middle finger. Feel the power in your body. This is a warrior posture. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Take the toes forward. Let's go to the other side. Toes are away, heel is away. Back hand on the back thigh. Exhale. And then inhale, bending the front knee, pushing the front knee away from you, lowering down. And when you get down as far as you're going to go, bring your hand up. Reach long with your fingers. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your heart. Tailbone down. Deeper you bend, the more intensity you bring into your muscles and your bones. Do what's appropriate for you. Long neck, long spine. Reach with your fingers, slide the shoulder blades, lift the heart. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Bring yourself back into the mountain. If you're able to close your eyes, close your eyes. Or bring your hands to your heart. Push your hands to your heart. Feel how that frees up, activates those posture muscles of the upper back. Lengthen the back neck. Chin parallel towards the ground. Close your mouth and let your heart relax. And then open your eyes. Let's go down into the ground for the rest of the practice. Get your blanket and your strap. So we're going to come down onto the ground. Let's come down this way. Let's come down through a reverse of a downward facing dog. So the toes are pointing forward. You're going to bring your tushy back, bending your hips. Legs are really wide. So the wider your legs are when you do this, the easier it will be. Wider legs, pushing your tushy back, bending your knees and your hips as much as you can, keeping the front of your spine lengthened. Bring your hands onto the ground and then come down. So the same way we kind of got up at the end of the downward facing dog, just learning that you cannot collapse or compress the front of your spine. Before we go down, if you do have a strap that loops, loop your strap. So put a loop on the strap before you come down onto the ground. Then coming onto your side, bring your hand away from you. Let's do the bridge, which is a back bend, using the strap to do this. Take the legs through the strap so that the strap is at the top part of your legs, and you're only about a fist distance apart when you push your legs apart. Then you need to move the blanket away for this. The goal here is to bend your spine as much as possible to activate the back of the body. We're going to contract the glutes so you protect the low back. Try to bend the upper spine as much as possible. The thing that will help you are the arms. So if you bend your arms alongside your body, really close to your body, you push down into the ground, you'll get a lot of bend that comes into your upper spine, really getting that nice bend. Or for those of you that have a more advanced practice, you can have straight arms or even clasping underneath, as long as you're able to not have your chest rest on your upper arms. So the 3 arm positions are here, here, or clasped. Walk your feet as close as you can get them to your body. Start to push out on the strap. Push your feet into the floor, squeeze your tushy, and peel your spine away from the ground, lifting the tushy up, low back, and then you start to lift the lower spine off. You could bend your elbows, pushing your elbows into the ground, or straight arm, or clasped to get as much of the rib cage to leave the floor as possible and to bend at the same time. You want as much bend in the upper spine as possible, pushing the back of the spine into itself, creating that spine bone stimulation. Now bring your awareness to your head and neck. You don't want any tension there. So bending the spine, you want the weight to come and waterfall to the upper back. Push your arms into the ground. Push out on the strap, squeeze the tushy. Bend your spine, push away from the ground. 3 more breaths. Take your arms long. You're going to start to place 1 vertebra at a time down to the ground. Lifting your heels up, try to place the whole rib cage, then the lower back before the pelvis touches. You'll feel that nice stretch in the low back muscles. When you get all the way down, bring the blanket back underneath your head. Bring your knees to your chest. Take the strap off. Hands on the belly, catch your breath here. Take 1 more breath. So let's do the last active posture, stretching our legs. Take your right leg in, put the strap on the arch. Take your left leg straight if you can. The goal with this posture is to pull on the pelvis. It's not about tilting the pelvis back and trying to bring your legs super far back. Try to keep your pelvis neutral, low back away from the ground. Pull down on the strap, push your leg away with the muscles, and then guide your leg back towards the wall behind you. Create as much tension as you can in the right buttock, pulling down, pushing away with muscles, and then drawing the leg back towards the wall behind you. Feel that behind the right thigh. Try to feel as much as you can there, pulling on the pelvis with the hamstring muscles. Take one more breath. And then bend that knee. Let's do the same thing with the other side. Take right leg straight or keep the knee bent. Pull down with the strap, push the leg away, and guide the leg towards the wall behind you. Create as much tension as you can behind that left leg. Push away, pull down, pull back. Take one more breath. Bring both knees into your chest, rocking side to side. The last posture, Shavasana, it's a posture of integration. Keep your mind here in this moment, focusing on your breath. Stay here the whole time in your Shavasana. Coming into final rest, allowing the integration of the practice to find where it needs to go, to the body, to the mind, to the soul. Gently begin to deepen your breath. And bring movement into your hands and your feet, your arms, your legs. Bending your knees, draw your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. And come onto your side, pushing yourself up to seated. Keeping your eyes closed. Hands are together, bringing your hands to your heart. We'll close with sound and gentle humming sound. Let your awareness go from your heart to your throat, listening to the sound that's created during your exhalation. Exhale to create space. Inhale deeply. Bringing your hands up to your forehead, bowing in gratitude for the opportunity that we have to practice to take care of our bodies, our mind, our soul. Namaste. So we actually did 15 postures today, and it was total body, a lot of different areas of stimulation. So hopefully you were able to go at a good pace and feel a lot. And if you haven't practiced for a little while, you may be sore tomorrow. Especially pay attention to your upper back, because a lot of posture and spinal work today. All right. How are you feeling? Sue, oh my goodness. Oh, wait, oh, Sari. Wow, Sari. I thought that was Sue B from Alaska. This is Sari from Hawaii. Wow, Sari, nice to meet you. Where in Hawaii are you? God, I haven't been there in forever. Hi, Patty. Happy New Year. So if you're still here, Sari, I would love to hear that, where exactly you are. Oh, good. Thanks, Nicole. Hey, Nicole, you should look into the bar method. You're a pretty strong woman, and boy, and I could feel it. Like, I honestly feel how strong I'm getting. I also see it in my muscles, in my legs in particular. It's crazy. I mean, it's wow. I've never been pushed as hard as I am in that dang bar class, but boy, do I love it. I've been perpetually sore since December 10th. Which, I mean, I get sore also from teaching, but yeah, I'm like, wow, really see the benefits of yoga. Good, Shizue. Thanks, Beth. It's so nice to have you here. All right, so let me know if any of you are interested in Scotland. Let's have a call and discuss it. I'll tell you all about it, what we do, where we go, and things like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know if today was hard. I'm telling you, I'm getting strong, so I'm going to be careful that I don't go too crazy. But yeah, let me know if anybody wants to discuss Scotland with me or the 26-day detox. It's amazing, and I'd love for you to do it with me. So even if I started today, even if you don't start today, but you start when the whole group starts on the 10th, there's so much support in this program. There's Facebook groups. You get an extensive manual. You're eating all day long, so you're not hungry. You have a lot of energy. I'm on day 2 of no coffee because as much as I try to not do caffeine, it kind of sneaks its way back into my life. And then I'm like doing way too much caffeine. So, but I feel good. All right. So yeah. All right. That's good, Nicole. Thanks for telling me that. All right. Well, thanks so much. Happy New Year, everyone. Look on my website for more information. Get on my newsletter if you're not already. And I will see you here next Thursday. For those of you in Los Angeles, you could be live next week in my 4 classes I teach, or you could be virtual. So website, DebbieRobinson.com. I think you all know that, TEBI Robinson. And I hope to see you in something, somewhere, somehow. All right. Great. Have a great day. Bye-bye.